You know the feeling. It's one of the most predictable and honestly frustrating parts of the workday. That moment when your brain just fogs over, your energy completely evaporates, and all you can think about is taking a nap under your desk. Well, today, we're going to dive into the really surprising science behind that dreaded afternoon crash. Right? It's like a switch flips. One minute you're on a roll, feeling productive, and the next, your brain just slams on the brakes. Your eyelids feel like they weigh 100 pounds, and focusing on that spreadsheet feels, well, impossible. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are in very, very good company. And this isn't just a feeling, it's practically a universal experience. Look at this. A staggering 74% of people feel this energy slump on a regular basis. That's almost 3 out of every 4 of us hitting the exact same wall. So the first thing to realize is this isn't some personal weakness, it's a shared biological event. So let's start by completely reframing this. What if that slump isn't a sign that you're lazy or undisciplined? What if it's actually a sign that your body is working exactly the way it's designed to? This is probably the most important shift in thinking we can make. That crash you feel, it isn't you failing at your day. It's a predictable biological event. Seriously, think of it like an appointment your body has pre-scheduled into its daily calendar, and you don't get a say in it. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Our natural instinct when we feel that crash is to fight it, right? We reach for another cup of coffee or sugary snack to just power through. But what if I told you those very fixes are the reason you're stuck in this cycle? What if they're actually digging you into an even deeper energy hole? This metaphor just nails it. Your body is the tired horse, telling you loud and clear that it needs a break. But instead of listening, we whip it with caffeine. And yeah, it might give you a short burst of energy, but you're just forcing that energy out of an already exhausted system. It's a short-term win for a long-term loss. And this is the trade-off in black and white. You get that temporary jolt of alertness, sure. But here's the scientific catch that most of us ignore. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 hours. That means half of that 2 p.m. coffee is still buzzing around in your system at 7 p.m. And what does that do? It messes with your sleep, which guarantees you start the next day already in an energy deficit. And boom, that's how the vicious cycle gets going. The crash hits, you grab a stimulant. That stimulant messes with your sleep that night. You wake up feeling even more tired, which, you guessed it, makes the next afternoon's crash even worse. So what do? You reach for even more caffeine to compensate. It's a self-perpetuating trap of exhaustion. So, if fighting the crash is the wrong move, what's really going on here? Well, it turns out it's not just one thing. It's a perfectly timed biological storm, a triple threat of 3 different forces all converging at once. Yup, the triple threat. It's these 3 powerful, natural processes all hitting you at the same time in the afternoon that create that perfect storm of wanting to fall asleep at your keyboard. Let's break them down. Okay, threat number 1 is all about your body's own natural alertness hormone, cortisol. You can think of it as your body's built-in morning coffee. As you can see from the chart, it peaks in the morning to get you up and moving. But from that peak, it's a steady downhill slide all day long. By 2 or 3 p.m., your cortisol levels have dropped way down, taking that natural feeling of alertness with them. Now for threat number 2, and it's all about that morning coffee you had. Caffeine works by basically acting like a bouncer at the door of your brain's receptors. It blocks a chemical called adenosine. That's the stuff that makes you feel sleepy. But here's the thing. While the bouncer's on duty, adenosine doesn't go away. It just builds up outside, forming a huge line. Then, around 2 p.m., the caffeine starts to wear off. The bouncer goes on break, and the entire crowd of adenosine rushes the door all at once. That is the caffeine crash. And finally, threat number 3, the classic food coma. The scientific name is postprandial somnolence, but we all know what it feels like. A lunch that's heavy on carbs and sugar causes a big spike in your blood sugar, followed by a crash. But it's even more direct than that. That rush of glucose actively suppresses a key chemical in your brain called orexin, which is essential for feeling awake. So your lunch is literally sending a direct signal to your brain to power down. So you're up against this biological triple threat every single afternoon. And we know now that whipping the tired horse with more caffeine just makes things worse. The great news is there are much smarter ways to recharge that actually work with your biology instead of against it. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you can't fight biology, how do you work with it? How do you surf that predictable energy dip instead of getting pulled under by it every single day? Well, here are 5 super powerful strategies that get to the root of the problem. A short power nap is amazing for clearing out that adenosine buildup. Getting some bright sunlight helps reset your internal clock. A walk after lunch helps regulate your blood sugar. Simple hydration can ward off fatigue. And a lunch that's higher in protein and lower in simple carbs helps you avoid that whole glucose spike and orexin suppression in the first place. And seriously, do not underestimate the power of a nap. This isn't just about feeling a little less tired, it's a massive performance enhancer. Just look at this NASA study. They found that a simple 26-minute nap improved pilot performance by 34% and boosted alertness by a whopping 54%. It might just be the single most effective, biologically friendly tool you have. So here's the big takeaway. The afternoon slump isn't an enemy that you need to conquer with brute force. It's a signal from your body that needs to be understood. So instead of constantly waging war on your body's natural rhythms, what would happen if you started listening to them? What if you decided to stop fighting your fatigue and instead started managing your energy with a little bit of science?